Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, isn't the hobby just in a crazy place at the moment? This video is one of those ones where you don't need to watch. There's not going to be any fancy graphics. Hey, that sounds bad, you don't need to watch. Now keep it playing. What I mean by that is there's not going to be any fancy graphics up on the screen. This is just one of those videos you can pop on in the car while you're going for a drive, on in the background while you're doing some housework, or maybe pop on your headphones while you're in the gym or going for a walk or something. I just wanted to talk about the state of the hobby and I guess how it relates to the rest of my time in the hobby and just how crazy it is at the moment. And it's just, I want to, I suppose, start off by premising how interesting it is, because we all know markets have ebbs and flows, and the Pokemon card market, the collectible side of it, the investing side of it is no different. And this market is just interesting to say the least, isn't it? Like, I want to take you on a bit of a journey, and look, we all probably started way back when, didn't we? Like most people, if you're in your early to mid 30s like myself, you probably started back in base set times, and you probably gave up somewhere around possibly e-reader series because, other things come up in life. High school, girls, sports, things that were cool when Pokemon cards weren't. But I remember way back when in EX era, when I used to crack open boxes and individually, pretty much individually piece out and sell all the singles. And I used to make a little bit of money per box. And, I remember selling, EX cards and getting $25 for them raw, mint raw, and thinking it was Christmas. Selling gold stars for, like Gold Star Celebi for $75 and thinking, wow, that's such a win out of that box. That box that cost me, 100 and this is Australian dollars I'm talking just for the time being, sorry, all the US viewers. That box that cost me 160 Australian dollars. I've sold 3 EXs for 25. I've sold a Gold Star for 75. Plus I've pieced out and sold pretty much every single. This box has made me $250. So I've made, $90 off this box at 18 or 19 years old, thinking I was absolute Christmas. And look, for the whole time of Pokemon, it's sort of just dwelled since then, until it got a little bit of a resurgence during X and Y, and we all know Pokemon Go sort of spurred that along. And then I'd never seen anything like it until 2020. Like, forever and a day, sealed Pokemon card product, like, it had price premiums, for base set boxes, and particularly first edition base set boxes, but we'd never seen the growth or explosion like we'd seen then for every part of the hobby. Wizards of the Coast sealed, PSA slabs, obviously singles, raw, sealed, everything in between, you name it, it went crazy. And I don't know, like, it was spurred on by so many external factors, like lots of industries, like I'm into the car world, of course, that's my job. That's my, I always say 9 to 5, but it's not 9 to 5, it's 8 to 5:30, plus a bunch of phone calls and emails after hours. So it's my 8 to 5:30, the car world. But, just like collectible cars was spurred on during COVID, just like, the housing market was spurred on during COVID, Pokemon cards went to an unprecedented height. But I've never seen a time in the hobby like now. And let's get into the now. I guess that's a little bit of background behind it. And before we get into the now, I just wanted to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, which is the Collector app. There's an all new feature in the Collector app. You can now unstack singles. This has been asked about for a while by a lot of people with the app. It is now a feature on the app, so you can do that. In case you don't know what the Collector app is, I've been using it for some time now. It's a great app where you can store all your singles, all your sealed product. From an investing standpoint, it gives you daily price updates. You can see your daily gains on particular products. You can stack your sealed products and singles from price high to low. You can see total movement plus percentage gains on your collection / investment. So for investors and collectors alike, it's a fantastic app. I'll leave a link in the description to download it. If you do have it, please update it. If you don't have it, I urge you to download it. So on to the now. I've never seen anything like it. Like, it blows my mind what the hobby's doing at the moment. And you ask yourself, like, where are the external factors? If we rewind back to 2020, okay, we had stimulus checks from the government, we had influencers here, there, and everywhere, sprouting Pokemon from the top of their lungs at the top of every rooftop, and it just spread like wildfire. But now you go, where's the external factors? That almost seemed like unnatural growth, and this almost seems like it should be natural growth, but there's also something extremely unnatural about it. And I don't know, like the hobby's just changed. Like back in 2020, it was like that was the birth almost of Pokemon investing. And now the growth of everything, you look at every part of the hobby. I think, rip and shipping, yes, it was around and yes, it was prevalent, but it seems more prevalent now than ever. Like that culture of just ripping open hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of packs a week on all different streaming services, that's gone absolutely gangbusters and is obviously adding to demand in this hobby and the supply issues that we're seeing. That coupled with the fact of, buyouts is another thing that I've never seen such a level of buyouts. And, I've done a few videos on these recently, things where, cards are averaging, 17 or 18 daily sales, and all of a sudden it gets 400 daily sales or 500 daily sales, and the card goes from a $4 card to a $25 card, and then all this FOMO happens around it because people are like, whoa, that card's making a move, I better jump on it, and that FOMO just spurs its average daily sales along, which just pushes it further north, and then we get places like Drowsy that goes from a $15 card to a $90 card from Scarlet and Violet base, and it's just like, whoa, that's crazy. Like these buyouts, and then the flow-on effect from all these buyouts and singles prices being absolutely, pumping to the moon is sealed, has that flow-on effect where sealed pricing, I don't think we've seen it this quick either. Like there's not one Scarlet and Violet set that, in my opinion, unless we see a reprint, will be under $200 in the coming months. Like even Scarlet and Violet base is approaching it. Paldea Evolved has gone to unprecedented levels. Like if Paldea Evolved doesn't get a reprint, based on the sheer number of illustration rares, plus how strong the Magikarp is, plus the grading play with the massive percentage gains you can get from these cards going from a raw to a PSA 10, and that multiplier effect because of how difficult they are to grade. Those two things combined, it's just going to rapidly push up the booster box price. There's too many illustration rares. The Magikarp's too nice a card. The PSA 10 value from your hits inside the set is too strong. That set's going to be, that booster box, I'm going to say it now, like it's, in 3 or 4 months' time, if it's not reprinted and supply just keeps dwindling and it stays the way it is, it's going to be a $300 box in no time. It's probably going to be a $350 box in no time. That thing is just absolutely charging along, and Scarlet and Violet base is not going to be far behind it. And it surprises me how rapidly all this happens, because literally in July last year, you could buy pretty much any Scarlet, and you could do SV1, SV2, SV3, SV4, SV5, even Twilight Masquerade, all sitting like at any online retail store for, well, in Australia here, like below market price. Like they were sitting for 160 Australian dollars, which is basically, and this is posted, taxes, landed at your doorstep, in your possession, for $100 US, all of them, SV1 through to SV6, like they're just readily available. And then all of a sudden, the table just got completely flipped, and I've never seen anything like it. I mean, and now the battle that everyone's having to get supply, like it's just crazy, isn't it? Like, I mean, I mentioned obviously the rip and ship is flowing through. The prices of singles have just gone absolutely bonkers. The buyouts that we're seeing, or perhaps, I did a video on market manipulation. Go back and have a watch of that one if you want to. I'm not going to delve into market manipulation in this video, but perhaps that's got stuff to play with as well. The flow-on effect that singles prices, buyouts then has on the sealed product is crazy, because if all your hits are worth heaps of money, then of course the sealed product goes up, because that's where you get the hits from. You've got to open the sealed product to get the raw hits. And particularly if there's grading plays inside there, you've got to get the sealed product, because that's your best chance of receiving a 10. We all know how tough print quality is, let alone print quality on cards that have been in, 2 or 3 binders, in and out of sleeves, into hard cases. If you're getting them straight from the horse's mouth, so straight from the booster box, they've got the best chance of receiving a 10. So sealed pricing absolutely pushes to the moon. And, I talked about the birth of Pokemon investing. It's starting to almost move to an unprecedented place as well. Not only are we seeing just huge amounts of YouTubers, myself, you're going to have to throw me into the mix there, aren't you? And views, like YouTube is getting massive amounts of views as well. And just every time I log on to YouTube, there's and the algorithm seems to be pumping new channels a little bit. There's someone new on there. A new Pokemon investment channel, new Pokemon market analysis channel, and I don't even know how, there'd have to be thousands of them now, wouldn't there? Just crazy amounts. And not only that, this shift to Pokemon investing being this correlation that seems to pop up between Pokemon and crypto, where everyone's going, well, Pokemon and Bitcoin are following a very, very similar trend, and everyone's saying, well, Pokemon's that new alt investment, and perhaps it is. And some of the conversations I've had, some of the emails I've had, some of the collections that I've seen on various apps like the Collector app, where people are buying in huge positions. Like, we're not talking, which I advocate as a fun investment, we're not talking 5% of your total investment portfolio, which I advocate, and I know a lot of people disagree with me, and maybe I should have put in more. Maybe I should have put in more of my investments into Pokemon cards 3 years ago. The rewards would have been there. Maybe I should have practiced what I preached a little bit more. But what I'm seeing is like big amounts of money being moved into Pokemon. So you couple all those things together, the massive amount of people that are, ripping products just daily, from ripping ships, or just, people chasing cards because the cards and the artwork is so phenomenal from Scarlet and Violet era, coupled with all those other things I mentioned, plus the rise of Pokemon investing YouTube channels, plus the rise of the whale Pokemon investor. And that's what I wanted to touch on at the end here, is that whale coming out. Like, some of the deals I've heard go down, some of the amounts of product that I've heard, there's big cash being spent, like big dollars, more than I could possibly risk putting into Pokemon. As much as I believe in it and I preach it and I obviously talk about it on the YouTube channel, personally, I'm not game enough to put that much money or skin in the game. I love buying them as a collection. I love buying, a case of a new set when it comes out. And I love feeling like it's 5% of my investment. I would love to transfer it now. Things have changed a little bit for me financially to 10% of my portfolio, which would be fantastic. I think that's not going to be a bad move considering how strong Pokemon's performing. But then on the tail end of all this, and this sort of winds back to what I was saying at the start to summarize the whole video, where, Pokemon's just gone to such a funny place. And I start thinking to myself across that whole journey and all the time, and you look at the timeline and you go, okay, 1999 through to 2025, and you go, well, this is where we are now. And in history, this is going to be remembered, in my opinion, as one of the greatest bull markets Pokemon's ever seen. From a natural standpoint, like, I know it feels somewhat unnatural with a lot of these card buyouts, but it's not due to anyone getting stimulus checks or the government trying to pump people up or some new content creator. Like, it's not like Mr. Beast has taken over Pokemon and that's driven heaps of people, like Logan Paul did back in 2020. It feels unnatural in some regards, but also very natural in other regards. And I ask myself, where's this going to sit on the timeline? And it probably is that answer, that it's going to sit as one of the best bull markets we've ever seen. And eventually, with a bull market, all good things have to come to an end, don't they? And when that's going to happen, I have absolutely no idea. But then I also ask myself, as well as a lot of emails that I get and questions and comments below videos, where are you buying from at the moment? And at the moment, I'm lucky I've formed a good relationship with a local gaming store who gets a very good allocation of Pokemon cards, and it means I can still pick them up at retail price. But man, it is such a tough time to buy Pokemon cards, and like a ballsy time to buy Pokemon cards, because you're not buying them at retail price predominantly with next to no risk. Like if you want to get in at Paldea Evolve, which again, I'd still think has no risk, but if you're paying 200 US, 250 US, it's like, man, that feels pretty steep for a very fresh set that also just copped a reprint. I know it was, you know, small and absorbed and bundled in with other products, but it was just reprinted only a couple of months ago alongside Obsidian Flames. So you ask yourself, like, man, it's a tough time to buy, and should I be buying in such a strong market when literally only 9 months ago, or 8 or 9 months ago, you could buy pretty much all of SV1 through to SV6 for $100 US, 160 here in Australia, landed to your doorstep. It just feels so pumped up to buy at the moment. Don't know wherever that ties in exactly at the end, but what an interesting market. Let's just enjoy the ride. Hey, I'm Michael, this is Poke Oz. Catch everyone next time.